Hey guys, it's Madeline here. So I love indie music. So much so that most of the music I own physical copies of are bands that no one has heard of, and I take pride in that. If you've been on my channel or social media for long enough, or if you know me personally, you will be very informed that my favorite band is Velvet Starlings. I found out about this band late August 2017, but it wasn't until December that I started to call myself a fan. So today, we're going to be exploring the history of Velvet Starlings and what potential I think they have to grow a larger audience. This is the first video of this series, which I'm calling Indie Reviews. Velvet Starlings is probably the worst band to start off this series with, as most of the videos I've been making recently are about them, and I have 2 more on the way. Just throwing it out there, I have even been bullied for liking them so much. But you know what I say to that? Screw it. This is my channel. I do what I want. If you want something other than Velvet Starlings, why did you click on this video? And you can always go to my Medium publication. I'm posting about Beatles and a bunch of other things right now. All links are in the description, including my bibliography. And if you want to join in on teasing me, you can go ahead and leave a comment down below about how stupid I am and dislike this video. And maybe don't subscribe if you don't want to see my videos in your feed, maybe? With that all said and done, let's jump right into the review. Christian Gisborne was born on May 4th of 2013. At 6 years old, his parents bought him a box set of the Beatles' entire discography. He downloaded every one of them and would listen to them every day, which he quotes as being a little delusional because he was 6. He picked up a guitar around age 11 and became super excited to learn all of their songs. He played around with a vintage organ before that, and there were plenty other instruments and gadgets that his parents owned to mess around with. Later on down the road, he started to grow a fondness towards bands like The Animals, The Kinks, The Who, Cream, The Rolling Stones, The White Stripes, Cage the Elephant, and Arctic Monkeys, to name a few, all of which have made an influence on his songwriting style. Christian began performing in Chico, California, where he attended school. When he was 13 or so, his parents were told about a singer in the area named Samaria Grace, who his father believed to be a perfect match for Christian to perform with. She was a year or 2 older than him, but she had been performing since she was 12, similar to Christian. They began to perform together under the name Velvet Starlings and were a regular act at a local pizza shop in town. They began as a cover band before Christian began to take up writing his own material. Christian's father is Roger Gisborne, a veteran songwriter leading acts such as Plasticine and Skylab in the 90s and early 2000s. He is now president of a record label, or a few, I'm not quite sure, known as Sound X3, where he works with his wife and entertainment lawyer Anita. Christian and Samaria were signed sometime after they joined together. Christian's father has been credited as co-songwriter and producer of both of his EPs. The name Velvet Starlings was a combination of the band's name Velvet Underground and a lyric from Cream's hit White Room, Tired Starlings. Velvet was worn by everyone back in the 60s, and multiple artists from that time alluded to the noisy bird, so Christian thought the name was a perfect fit. A few singles and an EP, as well as other releases from both Samaria and Christian as solo artists, were announced to be released in both December of 2016 and later, all of which never happened. Christian spent a lot of time before high school playing at the local farmer's market to save up money for music gear. He ended up being admitted to the recording arts program at his high school a year early as a freshman. Samaria left the duo sometime mid-2017. Christian was joined by 2 other kids he knew from school late September 2017. Ronnie Wiedemann on bass guitar and Julian on keyboard. I don't know his last name. I'm sorry. Julian disappeared in January the following year, and Michael Whitmore joined Velvet Starlings on drums later that year. Ronnie has since picked up both the keyboard and bass during live performances. The band's debut EP was first announced to be released in the spring of 2018. However, the date was postponed multiple times until it was finally released on November 16, 2018. It was preceded by 3 singles, If Life Ain't Getting You High, Borrowed Time, and Sold Down the River in that order. Another single, It's Christmas Time, was released for the 2018 holidays and proved to be a successful release for the band. Both If Life Ain't Getting You High and Sold Down the River were made into music videos. If Life Ain't Getting You High was filmed in Chico with a female actress, featured to push the message of getting your eyes off your phone to enjoy life. Sold Down the River was filmed after a fire devastated the town in November of 2018, and many of the shots were footage of the wreckage. Sold Down the River was featured on the K-Rock Locals Only show for over 8 weeks. It quickly shot to the #1 favorite on its 4th week, where it stayed for 5 consecutive weeks. The song has since accumulated over 62,000 listens on Spotify. Velvet Starlings has thus far been played in radio stations across the country and abroad on large radio stations such as in the UK and Japan. Rodney Bingenheimer has also taken a liking to the band and has played them many times on his own radio station. They have played in various locations in California and have been invited to play at South by Southwest in Texas in 2018, Summerfest in Milwaukee in 2019, and Live at Heart in Sweden in 2018 and I think 2019 as well. They have recently returned from a UK tour and have recently released the first single, Kids in Droves, off of their next EP, Love Everything, Love Everyone. While at Summerfest, the group won a contest for Favorite Emerging Artist with a prize of $3,000 in music gear. Velvet Starlings is currently on tour in the US, playing in Michigan, Illinois, Indiana, and Tennessee, and they are scheduled to return to Europe in August or September. So now the question is, how likely are Velvet Starlings to go anywhere in the future? Well, Velvet Starling's live performances are dynamic, and Christian is known for his inability to stand still while playing. He bounces, kicks, shakes, and dances around during his shows. His guitar solos seem to be an excuse for him to jump off the stage into the audience, and no show is a boring one with his powerful vocals and skilled guitar techniques. As for their original material, Christian harnesses a unique and shrewd talent for songwriting. His instrumentals perfectly capture the mood or imagery expressed in his lyrics. This can be seen in songs such as Sold Down the River, where the chords of the organ simulate the feeling of being tossed by the sea, and Rabbit in a Gun, where the music is dripping with Alice in Wonderland vibes, or in Emerald Isle, where the Latin style and vocal performance are seductive and harbor a beach-like vibe. I found out about the band in September of 2017, when most of the videos I could find were covers with Samaria. Their two voices didn't blend well together, and one would often stick out like a sore thumb trying to be a soloist instead of a duet.
And if our love was meant to be, we'll see in time, but don't regret a single word you sang to me. Love's a future tragedy.
They weren't terrible and were worth a listen, but the songs and performances weren't enjoyable enough to be noteworthy. But that began to change when Christian started to drift more towards being a solo artist. Where we started with songs like Young Ideas, Before My Time Is Done, and No Hard Feelings, here we are now in 2017 with brilliant and clever works of art such as Bitter Pill and Rabbit in a Gun. Christian has been adding more and more surprises to his live performances, including playing guitar behind his head, rolling on the floor, and screeching high notes. He has since gained a certain charm in his voice, and it is criminal to doubt how much time and passion he puts into his work. With highly enjoyable and explosive live performances paired with ingenious original material alone, Velvet Starlings show a high potential of going places. This is disregarding the response from major radio stations and festivals. I chose to talk about them despite my lack of other video topics, specifically because I have no clue what will happen in the future. They are already gaining quite the following, and who knows? By the time this video uploads, maybe something has already happened. It may not be likely, but that is how much potential I believe this band to have. Because of this, I would set their potential growth at about 80%. I hope you guys enjoyed the first episode of Indie Review. I have a bunch of other bands right now that I'm planning on doing videos about, and if you have any other indie bands, please include it in the comments down below. I would love to check some more bands out. And until next time, thanks guys for watching, and remember to play it loud.